Some of you are looking to get into home theater, but honestly, you are overwhelmed. You look at the prices of home theater gear, you watch channels like mine or Shane Lee or whoever, and you see these bigger home theater setups and you're like, man, I'll never get to that point. Well, in this video, I want to encourage you guys to not only start small, but I want you to dream big. And speaking of dreaming big, RNLL Sound, our channel sponsor, is cooking up something really big, and that is the 1528 series. Check this out. RNLL Sound is soon to introduce their biggest high-end luxury series, the 1528. The new time-aligned compound curve baffle promises to deliver a bigger, better, and more precise soundstage. This new series is designed to rival most competitors' flagship models at a fraction of the price. Sign up today in the link below for the latest updates on the 1528 series. I never, in my wildest imagination, thought that I would have a dedicated theater room. When I was looking at building a home theater, at that time I really thought that only rich people could have a dedicated room like I have here. But I started with a blank room. My room is only 13 feet wide, 19 feet deep, 10-foot ceilings, and it was a blank canvas. This was about 18 years ago when we bought this home. So I had nothing to work with. I reached out to a local builder, a local home theater showroom, an integrator, and got a quote from them. And I believe at the time it was like $20,000 or $30,000 to build out my room. And I was like sticker shock. I'm thinking, that's crazy. I don't have $30,000 to build this room out. So what did I do? How did I get to this point? So in this video, I want to kind of unpack that as best I can. And just hopefully this video will be an encouragement to you, especially if you're looking at possibly having a theater room, even if it's not in a dedicated space like this, but you want to have a cool home theater. You want to have that movie cinema experience, but bringing that to your own home. And you may be thinking, man, I'll never be able to have that. I want to encourage you that if I can do it, anybody can do it. And so it started, like I said, about 18 years ago, blank canvas in this room. I had nothing. I had a really small, I think it was like a 19-inch TV. I had a pair of speakers, and I believe I had a subwoofer and an AVR. That was it. But that's where I started. I started with what I had. So you may be watching this video and what you have are a TV and maybe a pair of speakers. Maybe you don't even have a pair of speakers. Well, if you're wanting to get into the hobby and you don't have a budget and your budget is really small, I highly encourage you, check out the used market. There's a ton of great Youthman deals out there, what I call Youthman deals, because that's what I started my channel on. I had to find creative ways to fund my theater room because I didn't have a lot of income. And Jessica surely wasn't going to let me just drop $30,000 or take out a loan to build a theater room. That would just be insane. But I want you to start small. I want you to think small, or at least start small, but I want you to dream big. I want you to think long term. We live in a society that is what I call a microwave society. We want everything right now. We want it instant. We're so used to having a 1 gigabit download speed or 2 gigabit download speed. And so when we download a video or we download a file, it comes very, very quick. Well, I'm old. I'm 48 years old, going on 49 here in September. And it used to take minutes, if not hours, to download large files. If I wanted to download or purchase a game and download that, it might take 30 minutes or it might take an hour to download before I could even play the game. But the reality is we live in a society that wants everything now. We want it instant. We see people on Instagram, we see people on YouTube, and we're like, I want that, but I don't want to go through the process it takes to get there. And what you must realize is that it is a process, and that's why I always have encouraged you, enjoy the journey. Don't be afraid to build this thing over time, slowly. That's okay. Somebody commented on a recent video recently, and it was just so profound, but it's exactly where my heartbeat is. And their thought was like, man, the fun is really in the journey. It's not the destination. And so many of you might be chasing that destination, the end goal setup, your dream setup. But what about the here? What about the now? What about starting off with a 2.1 system, 2 speakers, 1 subwoofer, and that's it? You know, maybe it's used equipment. Maybe it's something that your dad gave you, a pair of speakers back from the 80s or the 90s. And you're like, you know what? I've got a pair of speakers. Let's roll with what we have. Begin to slowly build this thing over time. The reality is in 10 years, you're going to be probably, statistically, financially better off than you are right now. In 20 years, guess what? Hopefully, you're going to continue that uptick in your income. Hopefully, on the opposite is true. Your debt is hopefully going to go down. That's what we did. We ended up making a decision to make some sacrifices a long time ago to pay off debt. I drive an older 2013 Ford Explorer. It's got almost 200,000 miles. I've got a leak in the roof, so when it rains, I mean, it literally floods inside. 2013 Ford Explorer. We got, you know, massive rain, awesome sunroof, man. Bet you guys don't have a swimming pool in yours, man. We got water down here. Water. It was pouring on us, bro. This back here is unreal. Look at that. Yeah, we got a hot mess. So, yeah, man, she's a leaking. What do you think, Jessica?
Well, at least the car's paid for.
So I've got to get that fixed. But the reality is I don't have car payments. So that makes it a whole lot easier if I want to go out and buy, you know, something, if I want to buy an upgrade. Even right now, I'm looking at upgrading my computer. And so it makes it a whole lot easier when you don't have payments. And so doing some of these things that are just super practical, maybe buying used, lowering your debt so that you can put more into this passion, this obsession for home theater, makes it much, much more feasible. And so I began with just a couple of speakers and a subwoofer, and over time, and we're talking a time, we're not talking about 2 months, we're not talking about 3 months or 6 months, we're talking about years. And I think some of you are just so in a rush to have this dream system that you're missing that process. You're missing the passion behind all of this, the journey, the trial, the building out of this home theater. You know, I look back and man, I wish I would have turned on the camera 18 years ago or 17 or however long it was when I actually started building this room out. I wish, like anything, I would have documented that journey so that you could really see how far I've come. And hopefully that would just be an encouragement to you that's watching this video. I actually have a video. I'll post it down in the description and I'll put it at the end of this video as well. So when you're done with this one, if you want to watch that. But it was my journey, and I kind of go through just a slideshow because I didn't have video back then, but I have a bunch of photos that I've taken over the years of my journey. So I encourage you to watch that. I think it'll really, really be a blessing to you and really encourage you on your journey. But the reality is you got to start somewhere. If you're passionate, if you're obsessed with home theater, you've got to start somewhere, and that somewhere is with what you have. If you only have a 5.1 channel system, enjoy that. If you've only got 2 speakers and a subwoofer, enjoy that. And over time, as funds become available, as you find those great deals, those sales, those Black Friday deals, as you get that bonus from work, or you do some overtime, or you finally get out and clean out your garage and sell some crap that's been collecting dust for 10 years and you make some money there, and now you're like, well shoot, now I got $800, I can put that in an AVR. Or now I've got $500, I can put that in a subwoofer. You know, those types of things will allow you to get to the point to where you're building this thing over time. Sometimes we look at this whole picture of a theater room and think about it. We've got an AVR, we've got speakers, we've got a subwoofer, we've got a 4K player, we've got a TV or a screen and a projector, we've got theater seating or at least some type of seating, we've got acoustic treatments, and we look at all of this, especially if you're new starting into getting into the home theater space, You look at all of these components and you're just kind of overwhelmed, like, man, I don't know if I can do all of this. Guys, I'm telling you right now, I did it. And like I said, I mean, I am not wealthy by any means. I make a good living, but I am not wealthy. And especially 18 years ago, man, we weren't broke, but we definitely didn't have a ton of extra income. And I had to get creative. And you might too. I actually had a home business in website development, still do to this day. And it allowed me to have extra income to be able to put back into what I loved, which is my home theater. And so you've got to be patient. You've got to be willing to build this thing over time. That is totally okay. It's so easy to think that in order to build a theater room that we've just got to, write the check and have it all paid for, and we just build it all at one time. And the vast majority of us are simply not going to be able to do that. I could not do that, still cannot do that, but I gradually build this thing out over time, adding newer components, upgrading my system as funds become available and as opportunities become available. And as those great deals come available, those things will really allow you to enjoy the process. I love home theater. I love everything about it. I have since the days of Dolby Pro Logic. And so I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm not going anywhere. I mean, this is my life. This is what I love doing. I love being an encouragement to you. I love being able to inspire other people. So many of you, I see over the years, you write in the comments, Michael, I got into home theater because I saw your video and I got excited. Or I used to be in home theater, got away from it for a while, began watching your videos, and man, now I'm excited again. And so I want to do that. I want to inspire you guys to build something. Again, it may not be a dedicated theater room. All these past 6 years that I've been on YouTube, I've encouraged you, build it with whatever space you have. If you've got a dedicated room, awesome, that's great. If you got a basement, that's phenomenal. But the reality is most of us don't have that. But maybe you got a spare bedroom. Maybe you've got a garage that you're thinking of converting. You don't use it to store your car. You don't use it, or the only time you use it is to pack a bunch of junk you'll never use. Well, maybe turn that into something productive. Put a wall up, put some acoustic treatment in there, begin to build it out over time and have a cool space that you can enjoy with your family, with your friends, to watch movies, to listen to music, or even game. It's a great opportunity for you to build those lasting memories with your friends and with your family. But you can do that in a bedroom. I've seen some awesome, awesome home theaters in a bedroom. I mean, I've got one on the channel. It was if you search for Harry Potter home theater tour and Youthman, so just search for that on YouTube, you'll find it. It's like a 12 by 13 foot bedroom that has this really cool vibe. It's even got a projection. I believe it was 120 inch. He had an 18-inch subwoofer, infinite baffle in the room. He had all in-wall speakers because he didn't have a whole lot of floor space. But there were 4 theater seats, 4 wall to wall. You couldn't even get behind, and it had a projection. Awesome home theater. You would have never, ever, ever walked in there and said, oh, this is a bedroom converted to a theater room. You walk in and you're like, whoa, this is an awesome home theater. And the reality is, it just takes time. It takes patience. It takes perseverance. It takes passion. It takes drive. It takes perseverance. All those things are necessary for most of us. Again, there are very few of us that are watching this video that you're like, I'll just write a check. I'll just have somebody build it. Cool. If you can do that, great. But that was not me. That's not been my story. That's not been my journey. And for most of you, probably isn't either. So I just want to encourage you guys, don't give up. If you're passionate, if you're obsessed for home theater, figure it out. Find a way. If you don't have the funds to buy acoustic panels, build them. They're super cheap to build. You can build them for like 15 to 20 bucks a panel versus $100 or $150 per panel. Now, they might not look as cool, might not be as decorative, but functionally, I'm telling you, there's not hardly any measurable difference between a properly designed DIY acoustic panel and one that you can buy from the main manufacturers that are out there. I just don't have the tools. I don't have the time. I don't even like building stuff myself. That's just not a passion of mine. I'd rather build it on the computer, like a website. I'd rather edit a video than I would, being out in my garage sweating, figuring out how to cut wood. And that's just not my gift. That's not my skill set. But maybe it is for you, or maybe you have a friend that could help you build those and you could save a ton of money. But the reality is it doesn't have to be expensive. It's not only for the rich. This is doable, guys. We live in the greatest time for home theater. I really believe that. And I think we're just getting started. And what we're doing with Obsessed Home Theater, I think is going to open up even more opportunities for us. And super excited about that. I'll be sharing more about that on the channel, literally probably in the next couple weeks. But again, I'm just going to wrap it up here. I hope you guys hear my heart. I hope you hear my passion. And I hope you get excited about building an awesome space. Dude, I tell you what, I'm going to challenge you. If you've took this advice in your own journey, drop a comment down below. Be an encouragement to somebody else. Share your story. Share your journey. You may not have a YouTube channel, but you've got my platform. I'm asking you, I'm inviting you to be a part of that story. Be an encouragement to somebody else that's watching this video going, I don't know, Michael, I'm not sure if I can do that. Man, encourage them in the comments of your story, of your journey, of how you started small, but you dreamt big, and you're beginning to watch that process unfold. Well, guys, I love and appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Hope you have an incredible week. God bless, and we will catch you in the next video.